When I first heard about the piece, I was kind of like, I don't know if this is going to work. And then once I saw it, I got it. But I'm sure as a creator, did you have some kind of setback about the attention span of millennials and Gen Z, for example?
That's a great question. And I think that as an artist, sometimes you're just throwing shit to the wall to see what sticks. And for me, I was very lucky because this didn't start off as like, I'm going to make this show about this. It just so happened that I was like starting to immerse myself into the world of clowning, physical comedy, physical theater. And I started creating these pieces. And once I had like, for some reason, three solid pieces, all of them happened to not have any words, and they just kind of worked because I tested them in front of like
And
audiences that I
and
was like,
every
oh,
actor should take
okay.
clowning. I took clowning. Every
I,
actor should take
I
clowning.
agree.
We are so disconnected from our physical
Yeah.
body, and like watching your show is like, oh, she did clowning. I totally know. I
Oh
was like,
my
oh,
god,
she did it. I totally
when
know. I
did you
saw.
do clowning? I want to know.
Well, I took out when I was down at Shakespeare and Company. They for the intensive, so they had the clowning. They had brought it in, like when you put the little nose on. It was
Yeah.
amazing,
I think
amazing.
that's so cool. And I know a terrible show for terrible people is described as, quote, somewhat interactive. You're not just watching a show, you're participating in the destruction of common decency. So explain yourself, Bonnie. How so?
Explain myself. Okay. I think it's like obviously, I mean, I don't want to like ruin the magic, but it is very tongue in cheek. So I feel that my show description is pretty much like you're if you resonate with that name, A Terrible Show for Terrible People, you're gonna like the show because it's got that very like tongue in cheek humor, and it's very like I said, it's raunchy. Um, and I forgot your original question. My
No,
bad.
but what I was going to get at is,
Yeah.
Bonnie, your award-winning show has received high praise from critics. I mean, one of them was even saying that you are the Charlie Chaplin of the Hollywood Fringe Festival, and your physical comedy show uses audience participation, which I think is super groovy. I love that idea, by the way. I think it needs to be enhanced and excelled even more to this day. So how did this come to be?
To use audience participation, like I said, it just was just my journey through clowning when I started. And we would do pieces and just like throw stuff to the wall. And it really just resonated with me. I think also, to be honest, my parents are immigrants and my dad like grew up when I watched stuff with him. It was like Laurel and Hardy, obviously Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
And I think realized until I was actually putting the show together that I was like, I'm doing comedy that like resonates and transcends language because you don't need to understand a particular language to find it funny. There's only two words and all the actions are physical. So I feel like it's like I'm almost making a show that like any immigrant or any person that has like a language barrier or just anyone can enjoy. And that language is universal.
And it's definitely physical, CCS family. And, I want to know from you, has any audience participation gone wrong? And how do you combat that?
I was just about to ask that. I was like, has anybody been like, no, I will
Yeah,
not go on
because
stage?
I know for myself, like, I think that I could do pretty well in those kind of
My mom
situations.
would have a heart attack and like freeze and not go.
Yeah,
So
because I know that
upset.
there's an amazing bar, piano, where they bring people up, and sometimes you think that you can handle that pressure being live on stage, and then once they start doing their thing, you're like, oh no, what did I get myself into? So has anything gone wrong with audience participation?
So part of the work of clowning is you are supposed to actually be very sensitive to the audience. And so what I'm doing immediately when I get on stage that may not be obvious is I'm scanning. Like I'm actually looking
Mm.
to see who the best participant is. And like I have to be sensitive to that. So
So you're multitasking as you're performing.
yeah, you're multitasking. And knock on wood,
So you
nothing.
got to work the room. It's kind of like a comedian, a musician's got to do.
You're working the room, but it's a little like opposite. Like I feel like when they're it's like a little bit of both and a little bit more. I think when like stand-ups, for instance, like work the room, they're seeing the hot spots, right? Like someone's gonna react well to their set. I'm seeing that as well, but I'm also checking in to see who would probably be the most willing participant. And there's just like in the moment, it's an instinct, it's a look that I'm picking up. Um, and I want to make sure that I'm not picking anybody that like
Steals
doesn't.
the show.
Yeah. Well, no, like or it's like might be like too raunchy or might like just like totally freeze up. And knock on wood, nothing like that has